Welcome to our final week of writing for this term. And what we're doing this week is we're using all our skills that we learnt last week in explanation, and we're putting it all together. Okay, now this is what it's going to look like. Day 1, going to be a plan. Day 2, you're going to create a draft on paper or DB. All right, then I'll have a look at that. I'll give you feedback. Day 3, you're going to edit and create a PowerPoint. Day 4, you're going to finish the PowerPoint. And then day 5, you're going to have some free choice write. So you can choose to write about anything that we've learnt so far this year. So you can choose about some poetry, you can choose narratives, you can choose information, you can choose explanation, you can choose persuasive, whatever, recounts, whatever. That's just free choice write, all right? So you're just going to write me something that you really enjoy writing, okay? But the main focus on the week is to finish off our explanation reports, all right? Now, there's going to be a few different videos to show you, all right? So this video, we're going to show you what the plan looks like. Then another video on the computer will show you what to create the draft and on paper, or DB will look like. And then editing, creating the PowerPoint, what the PowerPoint should look like, all right? Now, plan A and plan B. So they're the two explanations that I've done. All right, so they're the ones that I'm going to show you the plan for. So now, obviously, you can't use these ones this week. But what I will do is I will actually set you a topic this week, and you'll have to go into research it. All right, because I've been noticing last week, if I gave you free rein, you were choosing topics that were really hard to actually explain. So this week, I'm actually going to choose. I'm going to give you 2 different topics. You can choose which one you would like to do. All right. Now, plan A. It's an example that I will show you later on, so you can't use this one. I've identified my question, that I want explaining. What is the water cycle? Okay. Then what I've done is I've brainstormed the parts of the water cycle that are needed, that I need to talk about, that I have to research, okay, because I've done the research. So I know that the sun has something to do with the water cycle. I know that evaporation has something to do with the water cycle. I know that moisture has something to do with the water cycle. I know condensation has to do with the water cycle, and the rivers and the seas have something to do with the water cycle, as well as the clouds. So I know I will probably have around about 4 or 5 different steps, okay? Because each one of these is a step in the water cycle. So I know that's what I have to research and make sure I get 100% right. Now that is all I want you to do on day 1, is what are the processes in place that you need to identify and explain, all right? Because if you haven't got that 100% right on day 1, there's no point in you doing it on day 2, okay? So the 2 topics that I choose, obviously I'm going to know a little bit about. Once again, plan B. This is a bit different because why do we need traffic lights? So I was explaining to people why we need traffic lights. Now, I identified 3 things that I think that are important on why we need to have traffic lights. The traffic flow, pedestrian safety, and the colours are important. Okay, so that's why we need the traffic lights. And in my explanation, they're the 3 things I looked at. All right? So that would be my plan for why do we need traffic lights. So in your plan, it needs to state what your question is. What are you going to explain? Then you need to do what parts of it are you going to explain. What is the process? So this one here, there's a process. So there's steps. This one here is just identifying the need of why we need them. So it can be whatever it needs. But if you're doing a process, it needs to have the exact process. Okay? So that's what you're going to do on day 1. Now, on day 2, from this information, you're going to research a bit deeper and you're going to explain the exact process of what happens. Okay, now you're going to put that on the, preferably on the DB writing. Otherwise, you put in your book and you take a picture and you upload it, but preferably on the DB writing. So you're going to give me a rough draft of what that could look like. Then I'm going to go, okay, yep, I'm happy with that. Edit it, and then create the PowerPoint. Once again, there'll be another video on that. And then you're going to finish off the PowerPoint on day 4. All right? So the first 4 days will be spent planning, drafting, editing, and finishing your explanation report. Now, most explanation reports need a diagram to actually help you understand what's going on. Now, you'll see that a little bit better on day 3. Okay, so when you finish day 2, you'll see another video on day 3, what I'm talking about, diagrams and explanations. All right? Because then that way there, it makes a bit more sense, because you have to actually see what is happening, and through a diagram or pictures, you can actually see the processes that are happening. All right? So, recap. Writing week 10. We are planning, editing, and creating and finishing off an explanation text for the first 4 days. The 5th day, we've got a free choice write, whatever you want. This is what the plan will look like. It will have what your question is. What is your topic? It will have parts of the topic that you need to cover. Okay? That is day 1. Day 2, there'll be a separate video on what I expect that to look like. Day 3, there'll be a separate video to show what I expect that to look like. Okay, and then on day 4, you'll just be finishing off the PowerPoint, making it all pretty and all well done. All right, so that is our writing for week 10. Hopefully, we get some really good explanation pieces and we follow this structure. So good luck, and hopefully read some good explanation reports at the end of the week.